So this is a summary done by Phantom Banshee. Thank you very much, Phantom Banshee, whoever you are, for putting all this on Reddit, so I don't have to go through every single question on my Discord, or steal someone else's content like Augie's content or One Pig's content, or another creator that starts with an O. So this is like, there's some interesting stuff in here, by the way. I did see people like added me or like quoted some of this stuff to like show it to me. I haven't read through the whole thing though. I'm glad they added Q&A to the website and Discord. I haven't seen it on the website. Barb range weapon when? There are many concerns regarding this because I wanted. Oh, by the way, for the context, this is SDF's. Like, SDF did a Q&A on the Discord, so people asked questions on the Discord in the channel, and then SDF responded to like the ones that he could respond to. So the answers are coming from SDF. The questions are coming from players. So Barb range weapon when? There are many concerns regarding this because I want to completely change the paradigm of game combat. However, we have been preparing bolas for a long time. So people think barbarians are getting bolas. Maybe barbarians are getting bolas. Maybe everyone's getting bolas. If we get bolas, I hope they get rid of Francescas and throwing knives. Because Francescas and throwing knives basically do the same thing bolas do. They just do damage. Have you considered revising or updating the older classes? This is something I consider every time I try to do a balance patch, but I haven't done it right yet. Giving new abilities to existing classes, replacing buffering underusability is something we're always interested in. Okay, that's a generic response. Obviously, yes. Is there a plan for more in-depth anti-cheat? There are a lot of ESPers looking at people through walls. Regarding anti-cheat, it's not easy to tell you in detail because the cheat maker group can get hints. We are trying to introduce better methods. In particular, we are trying to create structure that can handle as many as possible with a small number of people. Okay, that was... So they want to get better anti-cheat. Okay. Free range slows would be gross on a tri-shot ranger. Lol. Also, we're continuously thinking about reduce cheaters' motivation from a game design perspective before functional defense through anti-cheat. We're sorry we couldn't get it done faster. Reduce cheaters' motivation from a game design perspective. This is what Tarkov did with found and raid loot, which we have already looted and handled. We have Tarkov has a lot of like in-game design like things to reduce cheaters' motivation, which basically only punishes legit players. So this is kind of scary. Like removing the ability to list certain things on the flea market, period. You know what I'm saying? Doing all sorts of crazy stuff with like the market. You can only bring certain things in with your you can't bring like money in to a certain amount or something like that. I forget what everything they did. Like you can bring bitcoins or something in. How much health do you say fighters need in HR? 150 minimum. That's what I shoot for. Yeah, I don't know about that, but we'll see how they go with it. But a lot of people hated this exact thing in Tarkov. Are there any plans to change gear brackets for normals and high rollers? I find there are way more people running gear and normals than high roller. I have a lot of concerns about gear brackets. I haven't come to a conclusion yet, so it's hard for me to say. Okay. I think gear brackets are like a band-aid that was created by interlocking various situations. Who is this response? Because this is SDF's response. Is this the response of the guy posting, or is this SDF's like follow-up response? Whatever. Gear brackets like Band-Aid was created by interlocking various situations. My original vision was a world where gear brackets weren't needed. I agree. For the time being, rather than rushing to address the issue, I think more deeply the team about fundamental issues. Okay. Here. PVR is physical damage reduction. Any plans for additional damage spells for Cleric make Solo Caster more viable? We have a strong desire to provide more diverse abilities to all existing classes. We are significantly adjusting our development priorities to focus on class development work like this. I hope clerics aren't just like another kiting class. Like they don't just add a bunch of range to like spells to cleric, you know, because we have enough of that, man. We got sorcerer coming out. We don't need more range kiting classes. Make cleric a melee caster hybrid, just like warlock. Like it's just, we don't need more perma kiting damage spells. You know what I'm saying? They should add gear score tiers to arena. There's already gear based matchmaking arena. Like a longsword, lol. What's the plan for arena? Right now it's all risk, no reward. The current arena is very early stage test aimed at ensuring that arena game cycle guarantees a minimum level of fun. We have confirmed the minimum level of fun. We have confirmed the minimum level of fun. Bro. I need to get somebody go into the Discord and get the picture of SDF saying we have confirmed the minimum level of fun and just like highlight minimum level of fun. And we'll adjust or further develop various parts to make it an arena that represents the characteristics darker of the future. Okay. So they're going to change arena. We all knew it. You want more one-handed weapons for Warlock? They already had that with Chris Dagger, and it was the only weapon to use for the longest time, so they removed it. Play 3 times to get stale. Is Druid mobility being adjusted or lower to focus for the team? This is completely intentional and will remain as the characteristic and strength of Druid. I hate this. Because this is completely intentional, remain as the characteristic and strength of the Druid. Druids also have the ability to insta-kill almost any class in the game, have the ability to silence casters, and 3-tap them if they build into agility. 2 or 3-tap casters with cat form. By the way, this is insane. You can still build cat form, by the way, where you jump on someone if they don't have 50% PDR. You literally 3-tap anybody. You just go bam, 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 they're done. So druids are also, the characteristic and strength of druids is 1-tap ability, silence, gap closing, escape, self-healing, and summoning minions. So druids are literally the best at everything right now. So you gotta, Mace, you gotta figure out druids, man. So if you want druids to be like the super mobility thing, then you better nerf everything else about druid, because this is getting out of hand. Having serviced this game for over a year, we have thought a lot about direction of PvP. Classes should go in various directions. In the future, we plan to design in a way that brings out the strength of each class a little more. As I've always said, I believe this game should be able to support a 1v3, and I'm not satisfied because it is not in that state at the moment. I will tell you my thoughts separately regarding this. As long as the range versus melee discrepancy exists, the game will not support 1v3s for melee classes. Because if you're a single character, if you're a melee character like a barbarian, and you have 3 range classes coming at you, you cannot win. You will get destroyed. They will apply full damage to you the moment they see you, and you will probably die before you swing twice. It's just how it is. I mean, just we gotta look at the game objectively, right? This is not a crazy opinion. All right. Does luck apply to chests open via Unchained Harmony? Glockton actually asked this. This should work, and if it doesn't, it's a bug. But on the other hand, I think it's probably better if it doesn't work because Unchained Harmony is so good. All right, well. Then SDF said he doesn't know, but he thinks it shouldn't. When will you add Dwarf Race? This is why we haven't removed the ability of the race that carries the risk of P2W. What? Why we haven't removed the ability? We'll tell you later. It's a disappointing Q&A. Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, it was an informal Q&A, right? It's okay, you know. It was an informal Q&A. He took time out of his day to do it, so I can't hate on it. We will test on short races by experimenting with goblins first before going to dwarves. So we're getting goblins before dwarves. We will also continue to be vigilant and correct mistakes if we make them in the future. Okay, we're getting goblins before dwarves. That's why. Test on short races, but probably because goblins easier to implement. We already have goblins in the game. They're just gonna change the goblin model, and I don't know how they're gonna get armor to stick on goblins. For information, I'm not saying P2W is bad. I'm not saying pay to win is bad. Hold on. For your information, I'm not saying pay to win is bad. What? Why not? You don't think pay to win is bad? Pay to win is horrible in a PvP game. What are you talking about? Games like that exist and are fun in their own way. I'm just saying that I know full well it's not what you expect from this game. Who made this post again? Phantom Banshee. Goblin Bowling up barbarians are coming, yeah. His opinion on Druid is the only thing I hate that he said. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. That Druid, I don't know, man. Games like that exist are fun in their own way. How? They're fun for people that shell out loads of money, and then the people that shell out loads of money regret it later. I'm just saying that I know full well that it's not what you can expect from this game. Okay. All right. It's not what you can expect from this game. Got it. You say so. Okay. We're going to hold you to that. Oh, sorry. It's not what you expect from this game. He's not saying it's not what you can expect. It's not what you expect. So he's saying that we don't expect that. Gotcha. Further clarification of pay to win mentioned and pinned to general chat of the main Dark and Darker Discord. There seems to be a misunderstanding about pay to win, but don't worry too much. Anyway, I'm not that kind of player and I don't understand why they enjoy it. Sure. But I don't deny that those people and games exist. I don't want to badmouth them. Maybe I'm just pretending to be too good. Haha, sweat. Don't worry, this won't happen in our game. Okay, so he says it won't be pay to win. If something like pay to win happens in this game, criticize us harshly. You got it. We will definitely listen to players. Okay. Why is solos much more unbalanced? Wait, why do we have stats on skin still? Did anybody ask why we have stats on skin still? Why is solos much more unbalanced than duos, trios? Classes like Druid have infinite resets, which are the core of the game. It is unfair. We all know that class balance is in a class game, base game is impossible. But yes, there should definitely be ways for other classes to counter Druids. Bro, I mean, Throwing a fire bottle is basically your best chance to stop a druid. Pay to win's the scourge of gaming. I agree. More ultimately, I think every class should have enough means to counter every situation their own way. I think people are always the most frustrated when there is no counter. Tell me about it, dude. Holy moly. And that is something we will be focusing on in future class development. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't just mean that like we get more guns. Because, I mean, let's be honest, the best way to counter everybody in this game is have a ranged weapon. Ranged weapon is the counter to range. So if everybody gets a ranged weapon, then everybody's balanced, but we don't have a melee game anymore. What's the counter for dagger fighter with 50% PDR? Shoot him with your gun. The counter to everything is don't melee it in this game. Counter to every problem in this game is do not melee it. Even having stats is blatant pay to win. Yep. I was tagged in a Discord that you were going over this. Hi, I'm the one who writes the summaries. I see. Is this text here? Is this SDF? By the way, thank you for writing this. Is this SDF also? Is this like SDF's answer plus SDF's like sentence? Okay, now I understand. I couldn't follow I wasn't sure what the text under the non answer is. Now I understand. I wasn't sure if this was like your commentary added to like what he said or like something else he said later. You said like up here for further clarification in the general chat, and I kind of like started to understand, but I wasn't sure. His answers end when you see a new question pop up unless something else is specified. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for putting all this together. Appreciate it. They fumble the words on pay to win is good, probably. Yeah. Okay. Thoughts on the current state of Rogue? Oh yeah, I read this one. Holy moly. I almost broke my neck with how like the whiplash I got from this one. Rogue is connected to many parts of the game, so it's not easy to summarize in one word, but I will say it anyways. So I think SDF agrees with me here. Like I agree with SDF, or either way, like we share the same view, but his answer to the problem of Rogue was like crazy to me. One of the mods for Reddit asked me to make that. I always write these up for people because they usually come in handy. Yeah, I was gonna use like OnePeg's video because I tried to go in the Discord and it wasn't loading all the questions for me. I understand that the current state of the game is that pressing the play button is very heavy. It is also characteristic of the genre, but the penalty for dying is so great that you have to wear a headset and play with full concentration. True. Although I play with music on, so, you know, I guess people just say I suck at the game, but, you know, what do I know? Entering the dungeon is basically burdensome. True. Until you give up all hope of winning. Of course, it may not apply to hardcore players. In any case, I have plans to improve this across the board. Okay? Rogue is, by the way, how do you guys feel about the Goblin change? Where Goblin takes out all of your stuff that's not looted, and he's like, and you pay for half the vendor price. Hey, Linnea. Do you think that's a big W change, or do you think it's a bad change? I think this is what he's talking about, by the way. Improving the heaviness of the play button. Good change. I like the Goblin change. W. Everyone likes it. Good change. Makes death less painful. Okay. In solos, I think it does help you a lot, especially when you die to mobs. It's like huge W. It's a huge W when you're doing solo bossing in High Roller. You die to the boss and then you just get your stuff back. It's like, it's great, right? It makes practicing bosses in High Roller like super good. But I did notice that in 2s and 3s, if your partner dies, you just take the enemy stuff and leave and your partner gets his stuff back. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Yeah, like Dorian said. You're better off not leaving your friend, true. Yeah. Rogue is a class that is comfortable to choose in the above situation because it has very high survivability due to its fast movement speed and interaction speed. Because of that, it has traditionally had a high pick rate. I've been saying this for a year. No one agrees with me. When Rogue can inflict explosive damage, it showed a very strong aspect in the play we call landmine due to the nature of ability granted, and it was not easy for other classes to respond. True. Also, hyena-like gameplay that searches for the corpses of victims while other players fight is popular these days. Korean players call this crows. We call it that within our team as well. Okay. Yes, we all know that. In short, Rogue is a class optimized for low risk, high return, which is something I've said before, actually. I've literally said in the past that Rogue is low risk, high return because their ability to escape, just like Druid. Druid is what Rogue used to be, by the way. And it's been loved for a long time. So people, like I say, when Rogue players like complain about their class being weak, I say you have to pick one. You have to pick the ability to choose your fights, or you have to pick the ability to win fights. Call it ratting, yeah, it's the same thing. Because if you have the ability to choose your fights and you have the ability to win all fights, then you're the strongest class in the game. You have to give up one. Like plate fighters being slow. Barbarians not having ranged weapons. Barbarians and plate fighters do not really get to choose their fights a lot. If you get third party as a barbarian or plate fighter, you're probably gonna die, man. It's just how it is. You're not fast enough. A ranged class like a rogue or a ranger or something rats you out at a third party. You're not fast enough to get away, so you get slammed. Barb can never 1v3. Skinny Pete is 1v3, but I'm just saying it's just way harder. Love you, bro. Wow, thank you for the super, Calyx. Here's how it works, right? People get like, I'm gonna like tell you guys something that you probably already know, but people give a lot of hate for this. And people probably never broke it down in this manner. So when you 1v3 a team, like I used to 1v3 a lot, Pete 1v3 sometimes, people give you a lot of hate. They're like, oh, you're just killing Timmies. Like, this is how it works. If you are fighting a team that is as good as you, if you're fighting a 1v3 against a team that is literally as good as you, you're not going to win because you're fighting 3 players that are as good as you. How are you going to beat that? So when you're 1v3ing, you have to fight a team that is worse than you mechanically as players. And people get mad that you're killing Timmies, but that's just how it is, right? Scrap all 3 of them, you can? Whatever. That's just Rangers. But my point is, like, if you see somebody 1v3ing, they're probably beating players that they're better than. Because if they were fighting players at the same skill level, how are they going to 1v3 them? They'll just get run over. The end. Thanks for listening. The problem is that there's been a lack of various countermeasures for Rogue and various low-risk plays for a long time in other classes. One way would have been completely rework the Rogue, which I suggested. But since I don't want to give up some of my vision for the class, okay, I decided it would be better to give it more counterplay against other classes. I know this made a disappointing answer to focus on the best way. I know trust me, lower rogues attack power in order to reduce its pick rate, which led to its current ambiguous position. Rogues are still fine. I hope Rogue will appear in various places in dungeons like so this is the weird part. I hope Rogue will appear in various places in dungeons like Alien or Spider-Man climbing walls. What is bro talking about right now? This sentence confused the hell out of me. Of course, after other classes are given sufficient countermeasures, I don't want to see top tier Rogue gameplays being intelligent 3-3. So he likes double jump. He wants him climbing walls and shit, man. Bro on the moon sugar, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this question is so weird. Yeah, on that schema, yeah, nobody looks up. As I said before, I will focus on structural improvements to dungeons and rules for the time being, as well as the development of class combat systems. So I'll try to improve along with them. New class ninja, yeah. Any plans for a bigger variety of gear for wizard hats, weapons, etc.? We're always interested in adding more weapons and armor. Yeah, this is yeah. Of course they're going to add more stuff. Right? They're not going to be like, all right, no more stuff for wizard ever. But I think there should be less class specific gear because like nobody likes looting class specific gear. It's boring. Any plans to tweak arena? Here are my thoughts on arena. Good. Oh boy. The arena I wanted to create was one where the play in each round would affect the next round. I thought about it deeply in the beginning, but I came to the conclusion that thinking deeply about it without a playable field would be likely end up as a desk theory. We don't really like to develop only in theory without playing it ourselves. When developing, we prefer to develop it while playing. Okay. Not really saying much so far. Does Wizard have any class-specific gear? No. That's why we decided to create a playable arena that guarantees a minimal level of fun. But I'm talking about like Warlock gear, like occultist stuff, Bard gear, like Bard stuff, Druid only stuff. Like this is stuff that like all of the new classes have class-specific gear. You know what I'm saying? And like barbarian helmets, right? Oh yeah, this is what I read earlier. We decided to first create a playable arena that guarantees a minimum level of fun. It would be cool if other classes had some perks like that too, like say give another class the ability to wear like all like barbarian or leather gear from other classes or something like that. I don't know, just something more interesting. It's like it's kind of sucks to only be able to wear like certain stuff. Like wizard, that'd be nice. Wizard can use crossbow. It's pretty strong. In the future, we'll think deeply about form which changes to affect rounds the entire game. Original vision, try various tests. I understand you feel annoyed by monsters, but at least in my thoughts so far, monsters should exist as variables. However, I don't think they should have too much of an effect to become inconvenient like they are now. Regarding monsters, the first thing I want to experiment is the permanent death of monsters that leads to the next round. I had various concerns regarding looting, what you should get, what should it mean, should it affect the current game, etc. We haven't finished researching these games yet. So here's my, let me finish reading this. For now, we will focus on MMR-based matchmaking rank system. My concern regarding this is whether we should separate pre-made teams and random matchmaking teams in a more accurate MMR. We all know it is good to separate them, but we all know it's not good to have a split matchmaking tool. Please check the updates that will be coming gradually regarding this. Here's my thoughts on Arena. I never thought Dark and Darker needed Arena. I'm not too interested in Arena. I think it like kind of like messes with the whole like play cycle, like the game loop. And I don't think the Dark and Darker combat is good enough to warrant Arena. Like the PvP combat isn't like I don't think it's skill based enough to warrant Arena. I don't know. I wasn't really excited about Arena, and I think the Arena is gonna split the development time. And unfortunately, it's going to slow the fixing of other bugs in the game, the ones we saw last night that pissed me off, or like class development and everything like that. I just don't know if Arena was needed. You like Arena for longsword practice? Yeah, everyone does, and everyone's crying about longsword players in Arena because wizards can use crossbows and Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, it's pretty good. Dark and Darker Mobile is made by a completely different dev group. True. Calling Kago Roar, not a skilled technique. Lol. Iron Mace does nothing with Dark and Darker Mobile. Yeah, it's a different company. No word in allowing 2v2s and 1v1s. But they're probably not going to do that. Bowl cuts BIS? Lol. Face and hair customizations be cool. Bro, the bowl cut is BIS, man. It's not skilled at all, it's just spacing. Well, it's not even spacing when you just have people shooting you with like, you know, you run at a triple range comp and you're just storming the beach at Normandy, right? Just hoping they don't hit you. It's literally that. Like you're literally running at the machine gun emplacement and just hoping you don't get shot. That's it. I went in an arena with very low expectations, and me and my trio have been having a blast. Okay, good. Insta fighting, yeah. I don't know. I enjoy looting people when I kill them. Seems a very low priority. Okay, because I think Dark and Darker does better in a situation where the fights are spaced out. Have you considered removing map rotation, please? It's always been my wish, but it's not the time yet. Okay, can you do it sooner? Some ideas. This I'm gonna experiment them. I'll answer them as soon as somebody has about the regular maps. I need to talk to SDF about my idea with runes, man. Somebody gotta get SDF on the horn so I can talk to him about my idea for runes. Did you guys ever I'm sure a lot of you guys heard about my idea for runes, but I think this is once they add the intermap rotation or the intermap matchmaking, once they add the matchmaking between matches, this is what I think they should do. They should make runes the map that you queue up for. Okay, there's no more map rotation. Everyone queues for runes, and then in the runes map, there are extracts that go. There's an extract like in the north side that leads to a mountain or something, so you go to ice caves. Like there's an extract you take to go to ice caves, and then maybe in the south of the map, there's like an extract. There's like a hole in the ground or like something like that, or like something you have to do to open up the goblin cave exit, like transit. Yeah. So you like you open up a hole in the ground, you open a cave exit or something like that. You go down to goblin caves, and then you take the stairs, the red stairs down to crypts. So basically, you have these 3 maps that you will go to from ruins. And then now we don't need map rotation. Once you have the intermap matchmaking, you have these maps are constantly getting filled because people are going down to all these maps. And ruins is gonna be like banging, man. We're gonna have people like going wild in ruins. I'm just saying, like, that will be huge. That will be great. And I would love to suggest that to Iron Mace, because I bet they would. I don't know. It just seems good. It's like the perfect way to get rid of map rotation. And it's just like, it's like once they get to the matchmaking between maps, like now you don't need a top level for ice caves, right? We have Ice Abyss, we have ice caves, we have ruins. We have ruins and goblin caves. If you want to make goblin abyss, like that's on you, but like you can do that if you want. There'll be too many players on first map. No, because we're talking about intermap matchmaking is something going to do. They're going to refill the maps between the matches eventually. Play hard. They've already said they want to do that. They want to do matchmaking between the dungeon levels. Let me pick my map. When is Rogue going to add parkour or new perks? I'll replace it with the answer to Rogue above. Okay, we already talked about that. One of the largest concerns is rampant cheating. Your plan's effective anti-cheat. We already talked about this. I won't go into detail. Give side of the room respond in advance, but I will tell you they're very interested in questions you asked. Particularly, recommend that cheating is the biggest problem that ruins the experience of this game. I'm worried that will be a strong backlash from players when we enter the kernel level. Okay, so yes, like they said before, they want a bit better anti-cheat. That would mean 20 minutes to get the Goblin Caves. Ruins isn't 20 minutes long, bro. It's like 13 minutes. Ruins is 13 minutes from start to close, and then you just go down, and then you interact with the Express Man while you wait for matchmaking to the Goblin Caves. Easy peasy, done. It's probably like you'd go down to the Goblin Caves exit whenever red opens up, and at like 8 minutes, and then you'd be in Goblin Caves like 9 minutes in. What are you talking about? 20 minutes. Class attached perks been worked on yet, like Crush being built in a Barbarian. Things like passives aren't even on the table yet. Okay, so we're not getting class passives. It's so sad you can't right-click stuff in a ferryman's inventory. They needed to fix that, man. They needed to add something, because that's crazy. How you feeling about Sorcerer? Slow but steady progress. I saw a character casting both hands separately the day before yesterday. I hope to release a working in progress version within the season, but at the latest I heard... Bro, come on. Sorcerer was supposed to come out at the beginning of the season. Are you saying you're not even sure if it's going to come out this season at all? I am tired of releasing something in low quality state just to meet a schedule, so we will now take a more relaxed stance regarding the schedule. But regardless of passage of time, we will continue to break pottery that we do not like. Okay. Hey SDF, thanks for giving us Q&A. Current meta of Dark and Darker feels like a lot of chasing kite and chase. Range is supreme no matter what class you are. How it makes me feel like melee based classes struggle to keep up with their range counterparts. True. It's hard to close the gap without it getting spaced by doors and max movement speed builds. The Iron Base team recognize this. Yeah, Sorcerer's gonna cast with his hands. I'm very aware of this and a big concern about it. In particular, chasing enemies with bare hands and then watching them get further and further away as soon as you pull out your weapon is not a good experience, 100%. In particular, things like this make our game harder in areas that are not visible, making it harder for new players to learn how to play the game as well. Yes, it's very visible, Joe, trust me. It may be better for everyone to have a very fast movement speed, or it may be better at fixed movement speed for each role, like modern class-based games. When you asked me about bunny hopping before, I misunderstood it and answered. Now I know exactly what it is, and it is not intended to reduce the movement speed penalty by jumping. This needs to be fixed. Okay, so they're going to get rid of bunny hopping. Good. Good. We plan to experiment with movement speed meta in the future to determine the direction. I will share more information when it comes clear. You said you played the game quite a bit recently. What are your overall thoughts? Overall, the current game is fun and has endless possibilities. Okay, first of all, I start playing the game at 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights, and once I start, I usually can't stop until 2 or 3 a.m. However, I can't say only good things, so let's talk about the parts that I really want to fix. There are various classes of parts in the current game. Okay. It's really complicated with divisions based on playtime and skill level. I'm trying to understand the players in each area. When I see feedback from each player, I try to figure out which group they belong to first. However, instead of explaining all these things in details, I'll explain the parts of the game that I feel I want to improve through one example. One of the problems I currently recognize is the most important thing I want to improve in this game, and that is hard to enjoy the game when there are players in the party who are not good at the game. One of the problems I currently recognize is the most important thing I want to improve. Okay, oh my god, there's so many words, but nothing, he's not saying anything. It's hard to enjoy the game when there are players who are not good at the game. Okay. Yeah, nobody likes bunny hopping except for people that abuse it. To explain more, this game is so risky that when a low skill player plays with a high skill player and the game results in a bad outcome, both types of players become stressed, making it difficult for the low skill player to stay in the game due to guilt and making the high skill player reluctant to play with the low skill player. Okay. Many team-based games have this problem, but I think each game has its own unique solution. I'm trying to solve this problem in two ways: increasing survival rate of low skill players, making it possible for high skill players to 1v3. Like, lower the skill gap or something. I think players who don't want to fight should be able to escape from the dungeon relatively easily in combat situations. In the process, I hope they will gradually get used to the dungeon and feel fun collecting treasures, resources, whatever. Finally, I hope that they will become more daring and jump into combat situations when they want to fight, only then will they die from PvP. Okay, also high skill players should be able to overcome crisis situations with their skills and turn the situation around. It's possible now, but it's relatively difficult to achieve the conditions, and it's very difficult for certain classes to do so. I wonder how he plans to do that. They remove bunny hopping, Vincent gonna riot? I mean, bro, it's part of your, like, you just put it on your mouse wheel, and then you have high frame rate, and then you just, like, you get to use range with no downsides. So, I mean, I don't know. It's fine. I'm not interested in people, like, it's whatever. I've been suffering in this game for like a year straight. Gear score in lobbies, 80 gear score, maybe 3 greens. Someone in your team had over 125 gear score then. Do for honor for the outnumbered tech? No, we don't need that. Where do you get a burst of shield? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about, it's called like a revenge or something. Yeah, like, no, we don't need that. Solo lobbies, something happened then. We've identified that we are working on a fixed issue of the frame drops occurring when continuously transforming. Oh, this is the Druid transform bug. Fix for upcoming Hawk 6. I think they already fixed it, right? That was in the patch notes. They fixed the Druid frame drop. When are you going to bring back migrating from Blacksmith to Steam? Yep, when? We're working on this feature. We will not support multi-platform to facilitate the normal forms of sales like DLC, but we will continue to support Blacksmith buyers who did not have a choice on other major platforms in the... What? That's the move there, okay. When will we get wands? This has been mentioned for a long time, been worked on quite a bit. It's not quite finished yet. It's a low priority and hasn't been received much development time. Yeah, wands are gonna just increase the range like stuff. Imagine if you get a wand for like lesser heal. That'd be insane. Can current classes be finished before the next one releases, please? Having multiple unfinished classes doesn't feel good. Unfortunately, that's not possible, but we'll try. Yeah, we should finish like Warlock and Bard. Is Rondel fighter going to be looked at? Because that's the optimal play melee. Weapon mastery penalty was removed to allow fighters to use powerful bows. Hold on. The weapon mastery penalty was removed to allow fighters to use powerful bows. They had fewer options to counter magic users. But things seem to have changed. So weapon mastery penalty was removed specifically for bows? Okay. I mean, bows were already good with weapon mastery, so I don't know what the hell we're talking about. Yeah, why not just make crossbow less lame? High enough dex fighters using a bow as fast as Dang Ranger. I don't really like the ability of fighters to use bows as much as they do. I'm just gonna say that. I think everybody knows my opinion on that. Because we just have so many range classes. Like if you just give a fighter a bow, then he's gonna use the bow instead of his melee weapon. Whatever. Moving on. I thought weapon mastery was to give fighters the opportunity to use more like crazy melee weapons like Bardiche and stuff like Fouling Axe or something goofy, right? Just make 2 weapons mastery, one for melee, one for range, nerf accordingly. Sword and shield type of fight more in this game. Slow as hell, not fun. I see. Crossbow is good if you use it right, but yeah, it's not as good as bows, but we already know that. It's because bows got a massive buff with the armor penetration. And then crossbow being at 30% armor pen is cool, but it doesn't actually contribute that much. Crossbow's still good. You have to use crossbow right though. You have to run at somebody with it. The benefit of crossbow is your ability to not have to draw it. So you can run around a corner and just stare at somebody and they usually freak out and you just close the gap on them. You don't have to shoot the bow. Shoot the crossbow. I need that 5% for my ceremonial staff fighter, true. Alright, sorry, that response like confused me. It made my brain burn a little bit. We'll be able to take items with the found by me status in raid. And be applied. What? Once we get that, with the found by me status be applied. I feel like the quest loot and other loot could be used. Target have a similar function. Sorry, what? I see. Got it. Sorry. My throat's getting raw already. Plans to address hyper druid movement. Oh, this is by design. This is so upsetting. Does Druid fulfill the role you intended to have? Currently feel like Druid is in a place that doesn't really have an identity. Bro, Druid has an identity. It's called being the best at everything. Druids are doing what I want them to do, except that their role as a healer is weaker than what the Wizards with longsword? Lamau. Might actually make me play wizard more. Druids are doing what they want to do, except their role as a healer is weaker than I expected. Bro, it's over, man. Dark and Darker's done. What I want is not for the role of Druid to be reduced when their capabilities limited, but for all classes to change so they can deal with a wider variety of situations they're in. Bro, is SDF playing high gear lobbies? Like, what's going on here? Are we seeing what's going on with Druids in high gear lobbies, especially in solos? Druids are literally the main character of Dark and Darker right now. They're actually like, Druids are like the character in the Shonen Jump like anime, where like they're like, you underestimate my power, and then they fucking just like destroy an entire army with one swing. SDF wants to lift all classes up. You can't, man. You can't. There's no way. Because Druid has everything. So all classes can have everything. How are you going to make fighter ability? How can fighter jump across an entire room instantly, one shot a class, and then turn into a rat and jump through a door? How is fighter going to be able to do that? How's wizard going to be able to do that? How's rogue going to be? Well, rogue used to do that. They don't do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, how's rogue gonna turn into a 250 HP 60% PDR one-shot machine and then turn back into a rogue and just run away? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, yeah, I'm a little like, it's kind of like give me a little stroke here. You know what I'm saying? I think we have Iron Mace might have a real misconception of what's actually happening in the high gear lobbies with Druid. I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts on the current bunny hopping epidemic. It's a bug. Okay. Bunny hopping is a bug. Bunny hopping is a bug. We've already read this in the previous question. They are fixing bunny hopping. Maulders mauled. Melee Chad stay winning. When are the promised balance changes going to occur? Dev seems to be changing things that aren't concerned about. Rain seems rushed to very unsatisfactory. Overall, the content seems bland. We really have gotten to see the game evolve past Rondel Fighter, Cleric, Battleline, double abilities, below Corruption, Phantomized Warlock. Below Corruption, Phantomized Warlock is not meta. Crystal Sword Demon Warlock with a Cleric and Bard behind them, buff ball, is meta. I don't know what they're talking about. Low corruption Phantomized Warlock, what are you talking about? Druid Hyper Movement. All those seem to be against your vision, and yet you ignore them every patch. How you address this? This is a painful statement, but it is true. In the future, I'll focus more on developing and adjusting classes. Of course, I can't promise that this will achieve the direction and satisfy everyone. Let's see where it goes. Do you have plans to buff loot from sub-bosses or give more variation special race and champions that encourage players to go after them? I have a suggestion where you have to clear... Wait. Oh, this is the question still. Suggestion where you have to clear a certain portion of your starting module before having to leave it to prevent spawn rushing. The sub-boss loot is a very disappointing part of the game, yes. In fact, Skelly Champs having golden keys is literally the only reason to kill sub-bosses. And maybe kill cockatrices for cloaks. In fact, it was fun to see people get obsessed with it when golems were set to drop excessive ore. I'll think about it. Bro, golems... I was farming golems more when they had the, when Firefly abdomens were like 6,000 gold. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't care about ore. Give me those abdomens, bro. 6,000 gold. That's a freaking gold key. Like, if you run, like, you can make a lot of money, by the way, in crypts, if you do it right. I'm just too lazy to go farm all the PvP. I just want to fight people. I'll think about it. I remember some roguelike FPSs using the method, entering a certain room, having to clear it, move on to the next room. It's an interesting idea. Hard to implement right away. I'll keep it in mind. I know this is taking forever, but I'm going to give my thoughts on this because I think it's important. Talking about leaving your spawn room seems a little hypocritical when he says that, like, he's talking about clearing rooms to move on to the next room. When Iron Mace reintroduced ruins, and almost every single wall in the outside of ruins is still jumpable. You don't have to use any... There's only like 2 modules in ruins where you have to use the doors on the external like 9 rooms or whatever it is, like 9. It's 5 by 5, so 5 across, 5 down, 5 across, 5 up. So it's 5, 10, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 rooms. Walls being intentionally jumpable is crazy. Yeah, and if you think that's bad, try being a druid and being able to jump all of them. Just saying, druid can jump all of the external walls. So yeah, like, it's over. But what I'm saying is, like, saying that, like, you're thinking about having to clear a room and move on to the next room is an interesting idea. It's hard to implement, but I'll keep it in mind. Like, it seems to be completely opposite of what you just did with ruins, where you can literally just jump over the walls. If this is something that you want to do, make it so you can't jump walls and increase the time it takes to open doors. And make it harder to break doors, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you could increase the time it takes to open doors. The only problem is that if you can't open doors fast after that, then you're just screwed. Like, it's going to be rogues and rangers opening all the doors fast and then running away. Or druids jumping through all the door holes, right? Because druids can ignore doors. So, like I'm saying, like, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do this. Classes have too many ways to skip doors. Rogues and rangers open doors super fast. Barbarians break doors. Warlocks break doors. Rogues jump through them. Even wizards can break doors. Why is that in a game about finding the loot the best option is not wearing chest and helmet? Armor needs to be buffed and running around naked seems to be penalized more. Who's not wearing a helmet besides Lizardman? I agree. Alright. Running around naked needs to be punished more. Yeah, I mean, running around naked should be punished more. Yeah. I mean, your chest piece should give you much, like, a percentage-wise, much more armor than the rest of your kit. I'm just... You know? Chance at katana. Would love a 2-handed option for rogue and maybe... Why would rogue use a katana? What the hell are we talking about? Why would bard and rogue use katanas? I'm sorry. What about a bard screams katana? What about a rogue screams katana? Rogue katana. What is this? What is this fantasy? I think the Japanese sword is something we all dream of. It's an iconic weapon, so even if it doesn't exist yet, it may exist in the future. Yeah, what do you mean rogue and bard katana? In Dungeons and Dragons, there's literally the Kensei fighter. Or the Kensei fighter that uses like the weapon bond and all that stuff. Like, what are you talking about, rogue and bard? Katana for monk? I can see that in a way. I don't think this game needs katanas. This game is like a European style, like... Isn't Kensei a monk? No, it's a fighter subclass. Yeah, Kensei is a fighter subclass. Give him a fedora. Yeah, let's get... Oh, yeah, you can use katana as a rogue only if you wear the fedora. Marky Kensei as a monk subclass. I literally just looked it up and it says fighter. Samurai's the fighter one. Well, it's a fighter subclass in DDO. How about that? The monk has a katana subclass too. Anyways, it's a European style My point is a European style, like a fantasy game. Will you manage to fix desync? No. No. Yeah, the answer was like, huh? Are there plans to nerf Goblin Merchant and buff in-game loot? This loot shouldn't be able to be farmed without going in-game. So far, I don't feel like Goblin Merchants are that serious a problem. I don't agree. I don't think Goblin Merchant's that big of a deal. I don't know what BIS people are pulling out of the Goblin Merchant, but I've gotten like one legendary that was good out of Goblin Merchant ever. Maybe I have bad luck. Druid Bearer form needs a nerf fast. I agree the damage may be a bit excessive. Okay, let's get on it, Iron Mace. Let's fix the Druid hitbox while we're at it too, because this is a mess. What's the future of MapQ matchmaking system? We don't have an official name yet. We're going to experiment a system allow you to start playing in the Forgotten Castle and move between floors immediately without having to wait. This is a big system that requires changing existing structure, and development is just finishing the planning stage. We want to develop as quickly as possible. It's expected to take quite some time. We understand your discomfort with a 3-layer dungeon, and we know that they're currently quite loose. Expressman has not reached the desired state, improvements are delayed, so it is still uncomfortable. However, we have come to the conclusion that it would be better to improve fundamental problem rather than spending too much energy in short-term improvements to the current state. We're going to develop the system above. One of the above system is, once the above system develop, each floor would have time flowing at the same. Players will be able to move down immediately if they choose. This is different from the floor matchmaking system we talked about before, but it could, I'm so confused. I don't know. They're just going to have the doors open immediately. What are you going to do? Go to the next stage, or are you going to just sit there for like 8 minutes? He said it's different from the floor matchmaking system we talked about before. What about revisiting the old class for creating new ones? The new class is making things trivial like healing. Just toss a couple curses and something, move on. Damage does not matter. Positioning doesn't matter for druids. Since Chicken Panther jump, it seems that each new class we make something trivial. I agree with you, but new classes should also continue to be developed. There will be problems and we won't be afraid to introduce new things. Yes, the level of completion needs to be improved. This is a nothing burger response. Yeah, he's in like, yeah, we're gonna keep making new classes, but like the guy's saying like the new classes are just invalidating the old ones. They just have everything at once and the old classes have nothing. Demon buff, please. Demon Warlock in 3s is meta. Buff ball. Demon Warlock is recognized very strong, operating certain compositions up to your trios, is understood to be relatively weak and solo due to lack of buffs. It's all due to the nature of a game where buffs are too strong. We'll focus on class development and adjustments with this in mind. Why don't you guys use timed pairing? The system needs to be more specific explanation. If I understand correctly, it's likely to be introduced in some class at some point. Okay. Phantomize became a passive, yeah. Results in allowing reds to open before blues, maybe close after a short window. Are you actively using arena stats to balance the game? Do you find the data to be represented from stats in normal dungeon crawling? For blue red, I'll replace the answer to the dungeon above. Okay. Have reds open immediately. Arena and dungeon are different areas. The balance will not be exactly the same. However, I expect that through the arena, it will be possible to confirm preferred combination or the preferred unpreferred class. Will Sorcerer remove perk spells from Wizard or to be put in onto Sorcerer? Introduction of Sorcerer will not immediately change the Wizard significantly. Okay. Full plate armor, long range melee weapons, throwing axes, bow, crossbow, sprint, self heal. When will Fighter get balanced? In my opinion, Fighter is adequate, whether other classes should be better. Sure. My only regret about Fighter is they are too dependent on sprint and second wind. However, this is not a problem with Fighter, but a problem with the current meta. Yeah. Not a mention of Quiver. They might have given up on Quiver, man. I don't know. What about backpacks? Yeah, right? Yeah, where's backpacks? Are we going to get an update today? Half-X, blah, blah, blah. This is not relevant. Any plans for letting player skip crypts? He's alone on the map and go straight to Inferno. I'll replace it with the answer to the dungeon above. So they want to open reds up immediately. Yep. Will Expressman ever change to stay open for at least 30 seconds after the last person enter the down portal? Expressman's unavailability for the last team is intentional, but I agree it's a bit harsh for now. Why is it intentional? Why? Why is it intentional? I don't understand why. What is this reasoning? If Expressman improvements are made as let's plan next week, we'll work together to improve them. Okay, so he didn't say anything. The design is very human. Bro, I'm so confused. So confused. Could we expect to see a quality of life changes update soon? Stuff that make the game better for 100% of the player base, not just specific class or playstyle, like things like fix broken or buggy ladders. Yes. Expressman doesn't have a buy all button. Yes. Auto search market listing items. Yes. After letting go of left click, I always swing my weapon an extra time. Spectating isn't accurate enough. Defining if someone is cheating is nearly impossible by spectating. True. Hunting traps should be owned by the player who placed them, the way fire from a fire bottle is owned by the player who threw it. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Toggle mute for voice chat. Practice location to test out our builds, no penalty to dying. Okay. Start searching with item. Builds are only useful in PvP, honestly. I think you could go in the dungeon with a torch and just come out of it. I think you could go in the dungeon with nothing but a torch and still, like, do everything you needed to do except for, like, kill a boss. Hey, Cat Queen. Stash searching with item highlighting. Yes, please. Oh my god. Also, a lot of things I find... Okay, answer. I find things I find inconvenient playing the games. There are a lot of areas that need to be improved. Going forward, we will prioritize improving what we have already developed. Ladders are something I want to fix. Okay. Breastman is being worked on and will include a buy all button. Thank you. There's been a few planned improvements to the marketplace. I'm not sure exactly what we mean by auto search, but it's planned to include the ability to search for the prices for the same item and listing an item sale. Good. The ability to research items you searched for frequently before. Great. The first time I've heard of left clicking. Okay, yeah, it's I don't think that's a bug. I think that's just him not unclicking his mouse, unless he's got a broken mouse. Current spectator is based on your clients, not accurate for what happened on the server side, and unfortunately improving this accuracy maker is currently lower priority. It's not gonna happen. We're not gonna fix spectate mode. I also really need the stash search feature. Okay, let's get it done. Will we see hunting trap rework or change? Not yet, but I agree that we changed something more reasonable. Good. Hunting traps are bullshit. PV mode when? This won't be explicitly there, but I plan to make it easier for players who don't want PvP to avoid it. Okay. Thoughts on current state of Ranger? Yeah, why don't you just add smoke bombs? That'd be hilarious. What if you just bring in smoke bombs? For all classes. Just take it away from Rogue and have you buy smoke bombs to come in. Bro, people be pissed. I know I would, but it would be funny for like 10 whole seconds. Thoughts on the current state of Ranger? I feel it's a bit underwhelming in trios, even though he can deal a lot of damage in theory. Bro, Ranger does so much damage from the backline. I think similarly. Okay. Can I find out how the selection of players works? There are suggestions that people with high rating are launched with the same ones, like 300 plus plays, 300 plus works all the 150, 200, maybe what? What, 300, for example? I don't quite understand the question. Me neither, bro. Could you consider giving Cleric some new stuff? I like spells and perks. This class has been very neglected in terms of content. Thank you. Clerics are actually a position that's received quite a bit of attention. We are interested in further development of all classes. The problem is that no one uses, or everyone uses Cleric in threes. There's Cleric in like almost every team. Decline. Hey SDF, are you excited about anything in today's update? Yes. No, he said it's bug fix adjustment. How would you explain the fact that Rogue's double jump got gutted last time we had Rune's map, but now Druids can triple jump across the whole modules in the same map? What are your plans in the direction? It'd be fun to have a perk like that. It would be fun to have a perk like this. I don't want the game to require too much vertical mouse movement, but eventually Rogue will end up stuck on the... What are you talking about? I think he totally understood the question. Rogue will end up stuck on the wall. So, SDF wants rogues to stick on the wall. He already said this about Spider-Man or aliens, like up on the ceiling, crawling in the walls and ceilings. SDF wants rogues to hang on walls. No, he does. SDF literally said he wants rogues to be stuck on the wall. Give me double jump with no penalty? Why? What's he smoking? Yeah. No, he said, like, he literally said he wants rogues to be like aliens or Spider-Man stuck to the wall. Is there a link to this article? It's in the, here, you can, yeah. I'll post it in the, I'll post it in the stream chat right now. It's a Reddit post. It's in the Discord under the Q&A section. Give Barbarian grapple skill. Yeah, give Fighter ability to launch himself forward by farting. Aliens can climb walls at AVP games. Yeah. Bro, this is what is this game? When is the new social space coming? We're currently considering internally whether to prioritize this. There's a judgment that other things may be more important. I agree. Do you think buff ball and HR trio is a problem? So any change to fix it? When you change from a range meta to a melee meta, buff ball is always a problem. However, I agree that it's too powerful when stacked. I think it's time to adjust it. You could get it. You could make buff ball to not give armor and magic resist from the just like you could just take away harmonic shield buff and cleric aura buff would be a start. Just for the frontliner to not be too tanky, literally unassailable tanky. make harmonic shield just only self-castable on card. You could even increase the armor it gives. It's only self. All right. Will you display in-game statistics in the future as it was in playtest? Maybe like pick rate of classes. Why don't you show it right now? Previously, this is possible. A certain member of a team would set aside other work for a full week, focus solely on statistics. So no. You deal with a very large amount of data, not just data of short playtests. Is not possible. Yeah, so they're not doing the statistics right now. Why does Ranger get 14 plus traps they can take in every game? Free kills on uneven geared players. Rogue has limited smoke pop, caltrops. Has take perks, save a lockpick. Why is Longsword able to parry even after you get hit? Then you just need to collect bladed attack. You, my god. Why is Druid able to get shape? Who is complaining about Longsword? Why is Druid able to get shape shift instantly, infinitely? Makes the class immune to death. Why does Warlock Phantomize have limits like Fighter's second win when it's a superior skill? Why is Bard the best class in the game in any situation, even solo, being able to 3-shot a Barbarian? With 100 HP, 80 HP with a Rapier, isn't it supposed to be a support team class? Because it's a fantasy world. Bro. This response. SDF was like, because I said so. Anyways, next. Speaking in terms of the Warlock, it's been discussed that vision for the class is debuffed to spell class. What should we expect to see as team player Warlock? No one debuffs, no one dispels as Warlock, by the way. No one uses Curse of Weakness, no one uses spell steal, whatever the hell it's called, I forget. One suggested I heard from someone is having Curse of Pain deal damage based on how many curses stacks you have an opponent, along with more in-depth debuffs. Predation, yeah. The ability to stack Curse of Weakness would be great, having it minus 10% all attribute, one stack stackable to 50%. PDR, MDR Curse would be great. Stuff that deals indirect damage to help your team. Good idea. Awakening Focus Warlock would be one way he plays to play Warlock. It's worth considering future development. I mean, I would do that. Problem is, Curse of Weakness doesn't last very long. 50 all stats, don't let him collect, lol. It is 5 spellcasts. You'd already be dead by then in the old Curse of Pain meta. I assume it's in the works, but the Watchman, can we please be able to right-click items in his screen? You mean the Expressman? It's just another Expressman. Still have a lot of meta around Bard and PDR Fighter running Rondel and PDF deck. Gotta open Adobe for that PDF Rondel Fighter. Running Crystal Sword due to how much damage output they have. Will this get adjusted? Druids and mobility seem to be problem. Bear Druid. People, this is another same. We've read the same question like 5 times, man. People's too full of Warlock a bit too strong with all their stat points available. Give selection. First spam, Phantomize has been the problems. Okay, strength stacking. Where's the longsword question? Was be adjusted. Focus leaderboard still ate a mini boss kill, large treasure chest, blah blah. The exact problem with Rondel Dagger is the animation is too fast. In its current state, adjusting the run damage of Rondel Dagger would require modifying the item itself or removing the damage stack through random modifiers. Not simple. However, I sympathize with the problem and I will look into it one by one. Just take the ability for Rondel to do infinite combo. Just make it three hits. I agree, Druid's a strong movement, but I've mentioned several times before, it'd be more fun if there was ways for other classes to deal with it other than simply limiting them. Basically, I don't want it to be a blunt. Make it blunt by hitting its strength unless you're power enough to destroy the game. If there's a way to deal with it, it's not a big problem, and there are too many variables, such as which class it is strong against, which gear level is strong at, which player group is strong against. It's difficult to answer easily. Let me answer. In case of Demon Warlock, I feel the health loss is low compared to the strength. I think the strong part is that it interferes with healing through Blow Corruption. I understand that the problem is that it maintained using Demon form after using Blow Corruption. Duration of the heal band is too long, so they're going to nerf Blow Corruption. Duration. Change Weapon Mastery to Range Weapon Mastery. Just get rid of Weapon Mastery. Who even cares, man? Because, like, people complain about fighters using bows, so if you change Weapon Mastery to Range Weapon Mastery, Ranger's still going to be crying about fighters using bows, right? So, whatever. I don't care. I'm just tired of people crying about it. I'm tired about people crying that fighters are using, like, weapons that don't even exist in the fighter class. So they're gonna lower the duration of Blow Corruption. First spam and Phantomize seem to be more a problem with the movement speed gained through bunny hopping than with the skill. Warlock is too fast to be caught, low risk. Play is easy, and even if you struggle to keep up, Phantomize provides another easy opportunity. Let's take a look at Power of Sacrifice. I have no idea what this means. Weapon Mastery isn't removed because it's D&D, bro. The only reason I want weapon mastery in the game is because out of memory. Stop it. Jeez. Opera. How are you running out of memory? I got a memory leak somewhere. The only reason I want weapon mastery in the game on my fighter is because I'm hoping one day they allow spell sword fighter to be a thing where I can take wizard spells and use a spell book. And let me tell you, I've played this a lot. It's not overpowered. It's just fun. It's just fun points. That's all. Because like fighter with second wind instead of spells is like better. Because you instead of spells you don't have to run a perk and you have a crossbow, which is basically like a ice bolt on demand. Thank you for the super Calyx. Affirmative. This time the leaderboard formula for adventure rank is be changed. We already saw this. We already know. Plan to completely revamp the adventure rank system in the next season. Oh my god. Every season we redo the adventure rank system. What are we doing? Voidblade Gaming? Yeah. Dagger should get low. Bro, what if they added a stamina system like Elden Ring? We're swinging takes stamina. Imagine. Fighter with ignite would be cool AF. Yeah, like that's literally why I went spell sword. To ignite my longsword, not because it's overpowered, because longsword riposte damage doesn't scale with ignite. So ignite still does 5 damage even if you're riposting with it. So it's not meta. It's just cool. That's all. It's just cool points. Will arena spectate get changed? Currently there's no way to report cheaters. Should be changed to reportable forum. Okay. You can spectate opposing players during game to create other problems. I'll think about it. Okay. Instead of nerfing Rondel Crystal Sword somehow, nerf the classes that abuse it? Basically, I think so too. Why are we gonna nerf fighter? Because he can use weapons from another class. Just nerf weapon master. What do you mean nerf the class? What are you talking about? Brother, chill. I think so too. You're gonna nerf the entire fighter class just because weapon mastery lets him use weapons that are better than his base weapons. Bro, it's over. Make more melee weapons fighter native. I agree, right? Let's just get rid of weapon mastery and let fighters use like felling axe, double axe. Like let fighters use other melee weapons that aren't overpowered. Just make them part of the fighter kit and then just get rid of fighters' ability to use daggers. Fun. Daggers and bows. Throw them out. I love recurve longbow on my fighter. Well, a lot of people do. It's like, it's really good. Stat requirements. That would be cool. Maybe you need 20 strength to run axes, right? Why nerf classes when nerfing the weapon solves it for all? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let fighter use recurve and serve, not longbow. Bro, there's so many fighters using survival bow right now. It's so good with dagger fighter. Make it so you can't use dagger and shield. Yeah, just make it so you can't use daggers with shields. Make all daggers offhand weapons. That'd be hilarious. I don't see anybody running longbow and fighter. They do it in trios for those lucky headshots where they just like take off 80% of your health in one shot. Will the wyvern egg have a craft? This should have been added sooner. Sorry for the delay. SDF, you have any plans to add new type of chest? Everyone loved the small coffers. Currently, looting chests is an efficient way to find loot. You considered adding chests to give specific types of loot: weapon chest, bow chest, potion chest. Oh my god, that'd be so cool. Imagine if we had weapon chests, bow chests, and potion chests and stuff like that. I'm not too happy with the current dungeon chest contents. I want to be more specific and diverse. Example: when looting a corpse in a prison, I want to get mostly lockpicks and moldy bread. What? No, just whatever. I don't know. When I played Tarkov, I was always happy to find a med container. I hope you're doing well. For the complaints you may see in this best game I've played, you have a lot of good work. I can't wait to see how much more the game grows. Thank you. Okay. Can you please remove Rondel Rondel dagger except for all classics rogue? Also delete Druid. I see how much you guys have suffered from Rondel dagger. Let's take a closer look. All right. Then Jane Harmony work with luck. We've already had this question asked. More riposte mechanics? I think so. Okay, great. Longsword in the toilet. Paladin when? The distant future. Can we get crafts for all weapons? I am having a lot of fun in the arena. I'd love to be able to try it on every weapon. Also, I love the arming sword. I don't want to play with a falchion. Thanks. That's for noobs. Ultimately, yes. Will more depth melee weapons be added, like giving riposte weapons that can't block? Doesn't need to be like boosted damage longsword riposte, like quarterstaff could knock enemies back with a riposte. This has been on hold for a long while. I think I'm going to start thinking more about combat, so you can shields more sophisticated. Take another look at melee combat mechanics does not necessarily mean adding new features. We're gonna do this fast, 30 hours later. Yeah, bro. My voice is we're almost done. We're almost done. Almost done. Let me read this again. My throat hurts, man. I've been talking clearly and loudly for like almost 2 hours straight. Will more depth be for melee weapons be added, like giving a riposte to weapons that can block? Doesn't need to be like boost damage with a longsword riposte, quarterstaff, and knock enemies back with his riposte. This has been on hold for a while. I'm going to start thinking more about combat, so we can make shields more sophisticated and take a look at melee combat mechanics. Doesn't necessarily mean adding new features though. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Shields are already very good. SDF. Let's be careful. If you make shields better, you have to take the armor rating off shields. Shields are already very good. So if you make shields better, you have to remove shields as a stat stick. Just using shields gives you like 10% PDR. With a really well-rolled shield, you can get like 15 to 20% PDR. I'm not joking. Yeah. In fact, you roll like 25 armor. You can roll 15 armor on a shield that has 30 armor already. That's 45 armor. And you can get like 2.5% physical damage reduction roll on the shield as well. Shields are insane stat sticks if you already have PDR. So if we buff shields, we have to remove shield armor as a stat stick. Okay. Final statement from SDF. This time I tried my best to convey my usual thoughts. There may be some parts that are disappointing, but I hope you like the answers. Since we only had about 7 days of work available out of the 3 weeks and had many holidays in between, we chose to take a vacation and rest rather than forcefully change the game. It may have seemed like to outsiders we were not paying attention. They didn't say they were going on holiday because they didn't want the cheaters. Yeah, since cheaters are active a lot while we're sleeping, we did not want them to know that we were on vacation. Shield Slam should be 25 base damage. The armor should be... Okay, so someone recommended that Shield Slam should do true damage, 25 true damage, and not scale, and I agree. I think that's better. That's a better way to go about it, because Shield Slam is so hard to headshot with, and it's just like normally you hit him in the hand for like 10 damage. Pathetic. Also planning to change our development direction a bit in the future. At first, we were able to develop quickly while sticking to our vision. Till the alpha test, we were less physically burdened, except during the testing period, we were able to maintain the minimum quality we wanted. Since there were not many functions, there were many fewer things to manage. However, since early access service started, we felt that the bug occurrence rate is increasing, that the level of inflation is gradually decreasing. For many reasons, but ultimately it's due to accumulated technical debt from rapid development in the past, and exhaustion is from too frequent patches and excessive schedules. In particular, our team members have a strong love for the game and the players and a strong sense of responsibility, so they tend to try to solve it somehow without sleeping for dozens of hours. They have become too accustomed to working without hesitation, even on holidays. In order to improve the situation and provide better quality services, I will make a choice to prioritize the health and happiness of the developers more in the future. It may seem like a slower development in the short term, but it will be a much better choice for the players and all of us in the long term. Thank you for always supporting us, and I promise to do my best in the future. Not sleeping for many hours? Bro, I do that every day. Alright, that was a lot of stuff to read. They're going to change bear damage. They're going to nerf Rondel, Fighter, and Bard. Everything else about Druids is either as intended or too weak, which is crazy. No mention about Wizard. Either way, buff or debuff. People hate Longsword, according to like 2 players in this question. Whatever, I don't care. Avoid the sword. How is it you guys watch me stream this game against longsword fighters, and then you see me fight longsword fighters and I basically never ever hit their sword, right? What's up with that? How does this happen? And then everybody else in Dark and Darker is like complaining.